this is Al Kabbalah. This is higher,
Okay, Maharal. Parshas VaYishlach. VaYizrach loy hashemesh. Let's take a chumash, Rabbi. I want to share with you what I upshat Maharal from the Sechik from my Rebbe, Rabbi Shapiro, Scheiner Levracha. In this week's Parsha, after fighting with the Malach, VaYishal Yaakov vayem Agidin Hashemech vayem Elam Ez Tishma Hashemi vayivarech Oisei Sham, and he gave him a bracha. Vayikra Shem Yaakov Shem Hamakom Peniel Kirisa Lekim Panim El Panim Vatinotzel Nafshi. VaYizrach loy hashemesh kasher over es Penuel, and VaYizrach loy hashemesh. What's the Pashit Pshat in VaYizrach loy hashemesh? The sun shined for him. Since when does the sun shine for one person? VaYizrach hashemesh. If you want to tell me that the sun came out, so the Torah HaKadosh would say VaYizrach hashemesh. Zelo katuv.
Some people feel it's a dark place.
VaYizrach loy hashemesh.
Yeah, but if you're lean,
arguably, the word loy is extra.
But if you're lean, you're saying.
For Avram, Hashem made it very, by the Bris Milah. He made it very
hot.
Yeah, similar.
Yes and no.
Right.
There, the sun was out. He just made it hot.
Right.
Here, I think Eliezer, you're drinking too much.
Yeah.
VaYizrach.
He doesn't think so, but yeah.
VaYizrach loy hashemesh. Rashi is bothered by this. Loshem b'nei Adamu. You could say people speak that way. Kishiganu lamokim ploinu heru lanu hashachar. Rashi says api pshat. Maybe it means we got to our destination. Medrash Agoda loy letzorkoi lerapoisoi es tzalosoi, to heal him. Okay, to heal him. Says the Gemara. You know who asked this question? Rabbi Yitzchak asked this question in the Gemara in Chulin Daf Tzaddik Aleph Amid Beis. Says the Maharal, VaYizrach loy hashemesh. Asks Rabbi Yitzchak, V'chi shemesh loy levad zricha zarcha haloy lekol ha'olam zarcha. It shines for the whole world. Mazav VaYizrach loy hashemesh. It shines for the whole world. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak shemesh haba ba'avuroi zarcha ba'avuroi. The shemesh that set, the sun that set because of him, now the sun shined because of him. When Yaakov Avinu began his journey, Vayetza Yaakov mebe'er shova, Vayelech charana, right? Yaakov Avinu left on his journey because he ran away from Esav, because his father told him, get yourself married, get yourself a wife and children. Vayolen sham kivo hashemesh. What does it mean, kivo hashemesh? What does Rashi say over there? It's set prematurely. The sun set prematurely. When Yaakov Avinu came to this place of where the Beis HaMikdash was, or was soon seen, he came to Beis El. He came to the Beis El. Vayovay hashemesh kivo hashemesh. It says Rashi there, mashma sheshoko lo yachama. Pitom. Any Hebrew speakers here?
Pitom means suddenly.
Pitom means suddenly. Yolen hashemesh pitom sheloy be'oinosa. Not in its correct time. Kidei Sheyolin sham. So he should go to sleep. Meaning, what happened there was a premature sundown.
Sunset.
It was sunset, sundown, the sun went down. Early. Right, that's why it says, Vayovay Hashemesh, it came down, Pitom. Vayolin Sham, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I want him to go to sleep. I want to talk to you. So I want to talk to you, lights out. You know what that means? Chick chock, they pull the light switch, zeu.
He davened Marav early that night.
He davened Ma'ariv, he was Mechsader Ma'ariv. He created Ma'ariv. He created Ma'ariv. Now, 22 years later, 4 wives, 11 kids, Avodim, Shvachos, Gemalim, passes over Nachal Yaboik,
goes up.
and he fights with the Malach. Vayiga b'kerev Yaakov, Vayizrach lo Hashemesh. Listen to the lashon of the Maharal. Says the Maharal, V'yeshlam v'neshum d'shah ketano lo'nasa lo'nes l'shane seder olam. Aval achshav sheshoka ba'avurei tchila ein ze shinu seder bereishis klal ma shehikdima ato sheken rohu lios. Since the sun had gone down for him prematurely, the fact that it's coming back now is resetting the clock. It's resetting the clock. That's very good. It was like a daylight savings lahavdil, but there's a big difference. Because there they moved the clock, and here Hashem Yisbarach moved the sun. He moved the planet or moved the sun.
That was the origin of the concept.
Says Rashi over there, by VaYishlach lo Hashemesh. That pasuk. Says Rashi, Oisan Shois, the number of hours, Shemiara Lishkoya B'Shvil Loi Kisyotzim Be'er Sheva, Miara Lizraich B'Shvil Loi. Brings down from the Medrash, it wasn't stam. Whatever hours were missing because of the sun setting prematurely, now came back. Now, listen, Rabbi say. Das kemen oisen wenig. Listen. Yaakov Avinu gave birth and set up his family during a tkufa when the sun was on its own schedule, not the normal schedule of the earth. Meaning, Earth's time, and this is a very tiefer word, man soll git verstehen. Man soll git verstehen, was steht du. Should understand very well what it says here. From the time Yaakov Avinu left, Vayetze Yaakov meBe'er Shava, the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu altered the time of the world, that means that it didn't just happen to him. According to this, he was the reason it happened, and as we saw, Malach Elikim Oilim v'Yordim Boy, the Malachim are going because of him. Yaakov Avinu was the tzura of Adam Harishon Hamushlemes, Adam Hashalem, Kisei HaKoved. The world did not continue its time based on, we're going to call it Esav time. It now became Yaakov time. And all of the Shvatim and all of Klal Yisrael is Bashafen Gevarin in the time that wasn't regular earth time. In Yaakov's time. Bashafen means created. Everything born and everything that was Nishava was sich nicht ziegestellt. It didn't happen in the regular world time. When Yaakov Avinu was bebeten imoy, and him and Esav, vayisroitu abanim bekirba, Yaakov Avinu had gesagt, I don't want this world. Give me olam haba. And Esav said, give me olam hazeh. And they made a deal. And we learned last week, remember we learned last week, Gedenk Rabbi Sai, there was never a person who lived in this world who merega sheyotza mebeten imoy, as soon as he left his mother's stomach, he had somebody that was out to get him. Yaakov Avinu hat nicht gehat a tugen Leben. He didn't have a day. You think you have a hard life? From the day, some people, Avram Avinu, when, like I said last week, Avram Avinu, when he started up with Nimrod threw him into the Kivshana Eish. Right? Yitzchak, Leich ki atzamta mimenu. Nobody bothered him. Till he went and bothered other people. Yaakov Avinu couldn't live a day in his life. By the time he walked out to the world, already Esav Soines Yaakov, he already hates him. Nishkat kan ein tug, he didn't have one day of menucha. And after he ran away from Esav, he got Kim and Lavan. That's why when he was 130 years old, he looked, Pare said to him, I never saw anybody who looks like you do. Yaakov Avinu hat nicht gehata normale Leben. He didn't have a rig. That's why by Yeshiv Yaakov Bikav Leshav B'Shalvat, Yenikshon, Rabbi Nisham, can I have a little bit of a break? Because he had from day one, there was nobody who was a near doif. That's what the Maharal said last week. There was never a Kim Mevakesh es a near doif. There was never a near doif in the Welt as of Yaakov Avinu. From the day he was born, Esau was already out to get him. When Yaakov Avinu created the Shvatim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu had zugestellt that the world should be kafuf to Yaakov Avinu. It's Yaakov's time. The sun set for him, and it didn't rise back until 22 years later, until he was finished his job. And then the world bent back to world time.
Is that why we're not affected by Mazel?
Okay, don't ask me no questions. Yaakov Avinu's, the answer is yes. Yaakov Avinu was taka. His oilam hazeh was not zugestellt to oilam hazeh. It's nicht gewesen oilam hazeh. Is oilam hazeh the sun, the time, everything zugestellt to Yaakov Avinu. The earth came to him, like it says over here. Vayifka b'mokim, the Bais Medrash came to his place. The stones fused together underneath him. The tzuras ha'adam, that became the place of the Bais Medrash. The tzuras ha'adam, chayev adam loymar b'shvili nivra ha'olam. Shenemer tzadik yisoid olam. There was never a time where you could see b'shvili nivra olam, like when Yaakov Avinu, he comes to this place because and the Rebbe Nisham says, I want to talk to you, puts the sun down, says Rashi, 22 years later, for the next 22 years, the world is going on Yaakov time. There's Central Zman, there's Eastern time, there's Western time, there's Mountain time, and there's Yaakov time. The world was on Yaakov time. When Yaakov crossed over, when he finished his job of Yaakov, and then at least that point, and got the name Yisrael, Ki Sarisa Lekim, now the Berger said, Yaakov, you finished that part of your job, let's put the world back to regular time. But the difference is, how many hours steht nicht do? The difference is that in that time, what was born and what was created was ganz Klal Yisrael. So Oy Bazoi, when we talk about who are the Jewish people, what is their identity? A goy, a nation of the world, they're born in this world. They're called Amei Haaretz. Bnei Yisrael, we're called, Bnei Yisrael is Kol Yisrael Yeshlem Chelek La'olam Haba. Kol Yisrael, their shaykhs to this world. We're here in order to get to you. Everybody's got a chelek already. You don't need a ticket to get into Olam Haba. It has your name on it. What you need to do is find your seat, which means earn your seat. Hashem Yisbarach decided, I want you to earn it, so you have to struggle, you have nisyonis, but there's a place waiting for you. The maitre d' has your name on the list. If you're not a yid, you don't have a name there. If you're a malach, you don't have a name there. Because malachim don't struggle. If you're Jewish, you're Ben Abraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov, you got a name there. There's a name there. Right? Kol Yisrael yeshem chelek la'olam haba. Shenemar va'amech kulam tzadikim la'olam yirshu aretz. You want to know something? Bnei Yisrael, when they were created, when the nation was created, when the foundation of the nation was created from Yaakov Avinu, it didn't shtel sich zu in time to the regular zman of the world. They were in a cocoon. They were in a time warp. It was a time warp from VaYishlach lo Hashemesh, from the Shemesh ki bo Hashemesh till VaYishlach lo Hashemesh. It's time, says Rashi, to put the world back. You did your job. You did your job. The Malach was moided to you. You even already have conquered the celestial beings. You already conquered the Malach. You did your job. Let's put the world back to the way it is now. There's one big nafkamina. Now the world is full of Yaakov's children, of Bnei Yisrael. There's one kid that still isn't born yet, Binyamin. Binyamin that's already going to have a separate cheshbon. We have to learn the cheshbon of Binyamin. Binyamin is taka, the person who's born in this world after all the kedusha of Klal Yisrael, and his chelik puts a Bais Hamikdash in this world. That's no coincidence. He's a person. Once the Kedusha of Yaakov Avinu, once he gets that Kedusha, he gets the name Yisroel, he can now father a child. Have a Bais Hamikdash in this world. This is the one kid that shaykh to this world. When Haman wants Mordechai to bow down, he says, but everybody bow down to Esav. He says, not my daddy. That's the Nakuda of Yaakov that doesn't have to be kaifa, that doesn't have to separate himself, can be in this world and beat you at your game. All the other 11 kids were born minutak, separate from this world. All of them were born in a time warp. When Yaakov Avinu finished his job and got his name Yisroel, and the VaYishlach lo Hashemesh, he came back to this world, now Yaakov Avinu came back as a powerhouse. His 12th and last child, Achrein Chaviv, was born in this world, and that child is the mokum of where the Bais HaMikdash is, and that's where the Bais HaMikdash first one will be, the second one, and the third one, b'meheira v'yameinu. That kid doesn't bow down. That part of the family doesn't bow down to Haman. That part of the family is not scared of Amalek. That's part of the family that's why Shaul should have killed Amalek, because he could have done it. He could have wiped them out, because he came from Binyamin. That's the part of Yaakov Avinu that's mischaber to this world and doesn't need to be him. That's already the powerful Yaakov. But the first 11, while he was becoming Yaakov, till he became Yisrael, while he was developing, then he was still devoid of this world. Once he came down over here, that was it. Yeah, that's why Binyamin has that koyach that none of the other brothers have. Binyamin's taka born after the son came back, and Yaakov still had a child, and Yaakov still was shoylet in this world. That's the koyach, and that's the one that brought the Bais Hamikdash. Sheyavei b'meheira v'yameinu.